Art Terrazas, and I am Ernesto Gamboa. Our other organizer, Nancy Lowry, is traveling, so she's not with us today. We always like to start off with a short introductory video on 1 million cups.
Over the years, in our cities, it's a great educator to see what's happening across the country. What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable. So even when people have ideas too, it helps me to do so. You know what? My idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
Okay, so who's here for the first time? Show of hands, please. Wonderful, welcome. And by the way, for everybody, if you didn't drop your business card on the way in, I highly encourage you to do so because we are going to be giving away a gift card today. One of our past presenters was generous enough to give us a gift card to give away, so please do that before you leave. Or actually, you might want to do it now because we're going to give it away in between the first and second presenter when we do the community announcement. So what is 1 Million Cups? So it started by the Kauffman Foundation with the idea to help entrepreneurs. And, our past sorry about that, technical difficulties, folks. You guys are all familiar with that. So the idea is every week we have two entrepreneurs come in and tell us their story, their entrepreneurial journey, their lessons, their successes that they've had, solicit feedback from the audience, and really that's the value for the presenters, where you all get to give them feedback, ask them questions, and don't be afraid to get in the weeds with them, ask them tough questions, challenge them on stuff, and also provide that valuable feedback. Okay? We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors. Our wonderful coffee is by pickup.coffee, and the .coffee is actually the domain, and wherever Lisa is, I always say that, and everybody who's here can always vouch for that. And then also, of course, our venue sponsor, the Hub of Human Innovation. Please download the mobile app for 1 Million Cups and check in. The mobile app also has a feature where you can provide feedback to the presenters after the fact. So please do that. And then don't forget to join the community on 1millioncups.org/El Paso. And then you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and that's for 1 Million Cups. And also please do that for the Hub of Human Innovation. And if we're ready, although I think we still might be working on our technical difficulties. Okay, why don't we do the community announcements now, but I'll save the drawing for the gift card till the end, just to give everybody a chance. So first, does anybody from the community have an announcement that they would like to make? We normally do this in between presenters, but since we're having technical difficulties. Any community announcements? No? Okay. Oh yes, we have one right here, John.
Titania, a franchise here in town, and now accept the name of it, a health card, healthcare. Anyway, we're working on being able to accept insurances, and we can now accept health care.
Okay, any other community announcements before I get to ours? Okay, Startup Now, discover, validate, and launch your business, hosted by the Hub of Human Innovation, which will be Saturday, June 17th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be right here. There is a cost, $40, although for students it's $30. And if you need any other information, please see myself or Nancy or any of the Hub staff. Business After Hours at the El Paso Marriott, hosted by the Greater El Paso Chamber of Commerce. This is a free event to network with friends and coworkers. Thursday, June 22nd, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Marriott on Airway in Montana. And actually, we have Andrea here today, so if you have any questions, you can see Andrea about that. Hablemos del Dinero, let's talk about money, hosted by the El Paso Hispanic Chamber. Join us to learn how to start, manage, and grow your business. That's on Thursday, June 29th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the El Paso Hispanic Chamber on Missouri Street. Next, we have People Start El Paso, hosted by People Fund. So if you're interested in capital and training to expand or start up your business, that's a perfect event for you. Wednesday, June 7th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Well, that's today. That's today. So right after this, go over there.
Yeah, there's lunch included. It's free.
Lunch is included. Oh, yes, we have a People Fund guest here from Austin. So I'd like to welcome you. And then we have a cooking class hosted by El Paso Cookie Company. That's also a past presenter, and if you all weren't here when she presented, you missed out on some amazing food. So, want to learn how to make an awesome fruit pie? Join us for a fruit pie class. That's Sunday, June 11th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The El Paso Cookie Company, 3020 Traywood, Suite F. And then we have digital marketing strategies focused on increasing the reach and visibility of your business, also hosted by Lift Fund. And that'll be Thursday, June 15th, 6 p.m. At the Lift Fund office on 1421 Lee Trevino. Are we ready for the presentation? Give me one moment, please. So we're still having, give us one more minute. We actually had a poll that we needed to take, so this might actually be good. So the Hub has a client named Amigo, and they're developing a cool platform for smartphones, but they wanted us to help them out by taking a very simple poll of who here uses an Apple or iPhone as opposed to an Android. So first, the Apple iPhone folks, you can hold up your hands and I'll count you. Hold up your hands if you use an Apple or an iPhone. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that 13? Maybe 12. Okay, 12. And Android. Okay, hold them up, keep them up. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, wow, it's exactly split right down the middle. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for that. And then the last. Oh, it looks like we might be ready. Okay, we're ready. And with that, I'll bring up our first presentation, Seeing Green.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Green. I'm president and owner of Seeing Green Sales and Consulting. I'm going to be talking a little bit less about the entrepreneurial journey, more about the technology and kind of an education process on it. So what I specialize in is called geothermal HVAC systems. So how many of you all have refrigerated air in your home? So you're familiar with the comfort level that brings, but you're also familiar with the increased cost that that adds to your electric bill. So a ground source heat pump system is going to bring those same types of comfort levels, indoor air quality levels, except with less expense of operating the system. It's not switching.
It's not switching.
All
Can we maybe advance it manually? Would that help? Or did the Chromecast stop?
The weather.
So first is a quote from the US EPA. They've recognized ground source heat pump systems as the most environmentally friendly, energy efficient, and cost-effective space conditioning system available. How it works is the Earth absorbs about 50% of the energy that the sun sends down. So we're essentially using that concept and treating the Earth as a big, giant battery. So, there's a big movement right now for, solar companies to produce these batteries. The Earth already has one of the best thermal storage units that you could possibly have. So we're envisioning the Earth as one big battery that you can put energy into and take energy from. Basic schematic, I like to look at it a lot as, how does a tree survive? A tree digs its roots into the ground and gets its water and then it gets, sunlight from above. So we're getting the sunlight into the ground's absorbing that. And what we're doing is we're tapping into the ground using a network of pipes. And in that pipe, we're circulating water. So the ground literally becomes our heat exchanger. So right now, your residential air conditioner has an air conditioning unit sitting outside. It's taking heat from inside your home and then dumping it to the atmosphere. This is essentially like putting that condenser in your neighbor's house. So that condenser is not having to work at 105-degree outside temperatures. It's working at a stable underground temperature of about 70 degrees. So you're literally, it takes a lot less energy to transfer heat into an area that's colder as opposed to transferring heat into something that's already hot. Go ahead, Jamie. So, go ahead again. So why is geothermal important in El Paso? Again, that everybody says convert to refrigerated air, but at what cost? We all know that there's increased operation costs to it, and go ahead and change the slide. Kind of adding, looking at it on a holistic point of view, your HVAC system uses actually about 60% of the energy consumed in your home. So your energy bill that you get every month, about 60% of that is all because of heating, ventilating, and air conditioning your house. And all this is really exacerbated by single pane windows, poor insulation, leaky ducts. Fun fact, duct sealing, if you look at your electric bill, there's a little line item on there called energy efficiency. So El Paso Electric is already charging you to do energy efficient upgrades. So you can get duct sealing and things like that at no cost from select contractors from El Paso Electric to get your home to be more efficient. But this is kind of just adding fuel to that fire of why your energy costs are going up. So the ground source heat pump system looks a lot like your standard air conditioning system. You've got your traditional air moving cabinet here that has your supply duct that goes out to your house. There are water lines that go into the unit here. This is what actually goes out to the underground loop field. And then this unit is equipped with what they call a de-superheater. Basically, it's taking heat from the refrigeration cycle and putting that into domestic hot water use. So not only are you able to heat and cool your home, you're able to produce all the hot water for your home without using any fossil fuels. So you're eliminating any type of fossil fuel device, be it for your furnace or your hot water heating from your house. So you're also reducing your carbon footprint there. So anybody looking to go green or sustainable, this is one dramatic way to lower your CO2 input. Next. Looking at costs of operations, this was an actual study I did. It was a new home in Las Cruces, so very good building construction. It was actually a LEED Platinum home, so it had very, very good building construction. It already had LED lighting, spray foam, all kinds of energy efficient technologies. What they were going to be using was a standard condensing furnace and 14 SEER code minimum air conditioner. The cost of operating that annually was about $31.66. Moving to a ground source system would save them about almost $2,000 a year. So if you're looking at that on a first cost basis, which everybody wants to know the first cost, you're assuming about a $10,000 to $12,000 more than a traditional refrigerated air system. With no incentives, no tax credits whatsoever, you're looking at less than a 10-year payback, about 5 to 6 year payback. So for any homeowner that's getting into a home, you're signing into a 30-year mortgage. What most people are doing now is there's green energy lenders out there that will actually roll this into a mortgage package where you're amortizing that over a longer period of time and your payments actually become rolled into your mortgage. Comparing that to a solar system, you're looking at a 4 kilowatt solar PV system, about $10,000 to install at $250 a watt, which is kind of the national average. With the 30% tax credit, you're still looking at over 10 years to pay back. So we're looking at bang for buck with renewable energy technologies, solar and geothermal. Geothermal, pound for pound, will put more energy, or take more energy from the grid and put more money back into your operating budgets. Next. Also kind of going back to what ground source systems will eliminate. So you can get rid of carbon monoxide sensors. Again, there's no fossil fuel devices in your home. You don't have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning anymore. It's been completely eliminated. Outdoor condensing units. You don't have to worry about a condensing unit kicking on and off outside of your window. If you're outside, cooking with your friends, you don't have to worry about that thing kicking on and off and hearing it all the time. There's actually a neighborhood in Austin, Texas called Whisper Valley, 7,500 homes. Every single one of them has geothermal heat pumps, and every single house is actually net zero ready. So their utility bills every month will be near zero because it has so little consumption to deal with. And if you walk through that neighborhood on a quiet night, it's amazing how much more quiet it is when you don't have a bunch of condensing units on and hearing the airflow moving from there. And again, you're limiting the noisy gas furnace. Everybody who has a furnace in your house, you know when that thing kicks on in the wintertime and you feel it. It's a dramatic airflow. So a heat pump, you won't even hear it running. You'll just know that the temperature is being regulated and you don't hear the thing operating at all. Next. More importantly, I think anybody here familiar with the rate case? El Paso Electric wants to raise our rates again. So really looking at why is this happening? So if you look at El Paso's load growth from 2005 to 2016, 15 out of the 16 years, they've increased their peak load. So this is why they're coming back and saying we need more power plants, we need more things like this because our base load is increasing. They hit 1865, I can't read that, but it was 1865 kilowatts last year. Their maximum power is 2,056. So they're already almost at peak capacity. If that happens, it's a blackout. The other significant thing to look at here is something that they call load factor. Next slide. I guess I took it out. So what load factor is basically looking at your home and how well the energy is being used on site. So if the energy is not being consumed well and is being used inefficiently, you're not really going to have a good load factor, and the utility company sees it decreasing, which is really bad for them. So what a lot of people say out here is, solar to the rescue. It's a good thing, but if you look at a solar production curve, it's starting to fall off at about 4 o'clock. Next slide. And if you're looking at when El Paso Electric sees their peak, it's actually at 4 o'clock. That's when they're seeing their peak demand. So you're seeing here, load factor by peak day on an evaporative cooled house is higher than a refrigerated air house, because a refrigerated air house is using energy more inefficiently than an evaporative cooled house. Yes, it's less comfortable, but better consumption on site. Next. Again, looking at different demand reduction strategies, El Paso has 5,000 residential customers every year at 1.62 combined annual growth rate. If we just got half those customers to go to geothermal, you're looking at about a 2.5 megawatt demand reduction potential. So they could literally be using ground source heat pumps as a demand reduction strategy as opposed to charging people more money. They could be implementing this as, incentivizing it and doing this as an incentive program instead of raising rates. They could be using this as a technology. Next. Really takeaway points, most efficient method of heating and cooling. It's both renewable energy and a very energy efficient technology, and it really helps the utility reduce the peaks and not have the issues that El Paso Electric is experiencing. That's it.
Okay, and with that we have 15 minutes of Q&A. Any questions?
Yes.
So, how come we haven't done this before?
There have been a couple systems installed in El Paso. One of them, or all of them, are commercial, on a commercial basis. One went terribly south because this system has to be designed correctly. If you're taking a traditional mechanical engineer and they're looking at it, they're going to be using what they call rules of thumb. If you rule of thumb design a geothermal system, I can guarantee it's not going to perform well. The best analogy I can give is we have a church and an office complex. Both of them may have a 10-ton air conditioning requirement, but the church is not going to run as often. So therefore, it's dissipating that 10 tons of air conditioning less often, or for less time. So if you design the loop field and that church is trying to dissipate heat, it's not going to have a big enough loop, or the office is not going to have a big enough loop field to dissipate that heat for 7 days a week, whereas the church only needs a small loop field to dissipate it for 1 day a week. And then that bad job has just kind of left some bad taste in everybody's mouth, but there are two good projects, Escontrias Elementary School and Canatito High School. Both are geothermal. So you won't see any types of mechanical equipment on either of the rooftops, and their energy bills are are much lower than any of their schools in the districts in El Paso. Yes.
So I'm a little familiar with the technology or the concept of it because I've seen it being used in more sustainable development complexes where people are building airships in New Mexico and things like that.
Santa Fe, Albuquerque, a few of them.
So, but I wasn't aware that they're using larger new construction projects or that it's been being recently used in commercial projects like schools.
Yes.
So, when you go to talk to someone about this, right, especially someone that has no idea what it is, what are the things that sell them on it? What are the problems that you have when you're trying to introduce this to someone that's
The biggest problem that I've run into here is preconceived notions of a system of the failed systems. It was like, well, we tried that and it failed. And it's like, well, all different systems, if you design them badly, they're going to fail. So if you really get down to the design of it and then first cost. El Paso is a very first cost-driven city. So I'm right now I'm talking to the school districts. My partner out in Dallas, he's done over 300 geothermal schools. Every single one of them has an Energy Star rating, if you're familiar with that, of 99 or above. So those school districts, one of his schools, I just got a life cycle analysis on it, one school over a 20-year period is going to be saving a little or close to $2 million. They've got 60 schools in that district. So 60 times $2 million, that's a lot of money back in that school district's budget. They're not going to be coming and asking for more bond money in 10 years. If this type of thing is implemented in El Paso, this is what prevents bonds from happening. It prevents our property taxes from going up every 10 years. The biggest problem here is the lack of designers that are actually certified geothermal designers, so that it's not being talked about much. There's not a lot of education about it, and it's a lot of well, it won't work, let's not try that, because engineers have E&O insurance, and they don't want to be sued. So I completely understand the liability of taking that step out on the ice, but the thing is they have to partner with companies that have done it before and use it as an education builder thing. Say, hey, come teach me how to do this correctly so that we can take off in a thriving market in our own market.
Do you think it's healthier?
Absolutely.
Again,
you're eliminating the carbon monoxide, you're eliminating all these different things that are, it's a lower, slower airflow, you're not actually feeling the air moving. So it's much better for indoor air quality issues as well. Yes.
Sort of blinded, are there can you retrofit existing structured homes and,
Absolutely.
I'm talking like medium high density homes, you can retrofit them to have this system?
Yes, most definitely.
And then the other thing is, as far as your like fail rate, or everything fails at a point in time, the cost to repair a refrigerator system is X.
Mm-hmm.
What is the same scenario with this?
With this, you're going to be doing much less repairs. Your refrigerated air, the most common thing to go down is
What about guarantees, warranties? Is every system
standard manufacturer type warranties. The underground loop field, it's high density polyethylene pipe, which is the same thing they put in ground for seismic zones for natural gas, so it's not going to have any leak issues. Actually has a half-life of over 100 years. So the pipe itself is a warranty for over 100. And then the geothermal heat pump units have a standard rating for 24 years or greater. And then my partner's got several schools in Dallas that have been running for over 26 years and haven't replaced a heat pump yet.
And you're based in Cruces or
We're
here?
based in Nebraska. Yes, sir.
The question, the $10,000 to $12,000 that you had the cost per home, is that retrofit or is that new construction?
For a home, it would actually be relatively both. So if you've already got a refrigerated air system, it's a much easier conversion because you've already got the room for the air handling cabinet inside your house. So then it's just switching that out and then running water lines to it. So it's not a whole lot of reconstructive work. There's actually units that will sit, if you've got the outdoor condensing unit, they'll sit right there and replace that. Instead of having a fan, it's just a little self-enclosed system that runs the refrigerant lines inside. But the retrofit of a home is much easier than commercial, for sure. Yes, sir.
Can you describe the loop field? Is it vertical or horizontal? Or?
Both. You can do vertical or horizontal. You see more vertical here in El Paso just because of the soil structure, and our temperatures are a little bit warmer as you approach the surface. So here our undisturbed earth temperature, as they call it, at about 60 feet and down to about 500 is about 70 to 75 degrees. And that's really an ideal temperature because then, again, it's like putting that condensing unit in your neighbor's house. So it's operating at 70 degrees as opposed to 105. The vertical loops, they go typically about 300 feet deep, about the diameter of a mason jar. And then the pipes that run in it, it's a pre-manufactured U-bend, and it's usually between 3/4 and 1 1/4 inches in diameter of pipe. Yes.
What is the regulatory environment like, state, federal?
It's regulated by the Water Commission, so the same type of regulations that water well drillers have to deal with, those are usually the drillers that are doing it. You're not actually having any kind of negative environmental impact. It's a closed loop system, so you're not evaporating water, you're not putting anything into the earth. It's completely, even if there was a leak, you're leaking water back into the earth, so there's no really major environmental concern to be concerned on. Yes.
How quickly about completion is that running at full force? Full potential?
Immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're using refrigerated air like currently, let's say keep my temperature like at 65, it will actually get that cold?
It can't get that cold. It is, I mean, if you design the loop field to accept that much heat rejection, yes. I mean, that's one thing you can run into. Canantillo High School, one of the problems is the way they design the loop field, it's like a giant checkerboard. So right in the middle of it, they're getting a lot of heat saturation because they can't dissipate it anymore. So their water temperatures coming back to the building are actually a little bit higher, so their efficiency is dropped. It's still cooling just fine. But as that water temperature rises, efficiency drops, just like as air temperature rises, your air conditioning efficiency drops. Yes.
I heard you mention school, your target market. What in El Paso specifically, what is your top 2 target market consumer?
Right now, I'd say school districts and homeowners.
Homeowners, not
Yeah.
home builders?
Home builders as well. Home builders, developers, Mimco's, River Oaks.
And how, year over year, how long have you been doing this?
About 3.5 years.
And year over year, how are things?
Very little traction. Very little traction. It's, there's a lot of perception of, there's a lot of fear. It's a lot of fear. And it's, other markets I think have been more progressive on going green as opposed to El Paso.
Do you have the opportunity to like seller finance, self-fund certain projects?
There are financing methods.
Just to break the ice. I mean,
Yeah, there are financing methods on the commercial realm. Residential, unfortunately, there used to be a 30% tax credit, but when solar got extended in 2021, it was an 11th hour session, and the geothermal tax credit got left out. So there is currently a bill called the Rebuild. It's got about 82 bipartisan supporters, and they're hoping to get that passed to get geothermal tax credits reenacted, and then residential would have a 30% tax credit, just like solar. But the main thing, I mean, like I was showing, even without tax credits on residential, you're looking at 5 to 6 year payback. For school districts, it's definitely economy of scale. My partner in Dallas has done over 300 schools. They've got it dialed in now to where their first cost is within pennies per square foot of a traditional HVAC system. First cost. When you start looking at life cycle and maintenance and things like that, that's when you start putting millions back in budgets.
Remind me the name of your company or
Seeing Green Sales and Consulting.
how do we find you online or?
I do have a website. Unfortunately, right now it's being reconstructed in Dell. About a month it should be back. Yes, sir.
Can you give us a little bit of background on yourself and your qualifications, what's your background?
I'm a mechanical engineer, and then I've done energy consulting for 3.5 years, and taking my lead GA certification here in a month. And I'm also the only certified geo-exchange designer within 400 miles of El Paso. The closest next one is in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So as soon as we get more business, how are we going to scale that? Since you're the only guy.
I'm sorry, what?
Since you're the only guy in the area.
Right.
How are you going to scale it?
Educating the right contractors, educating the right engineers to start building a team. To do that, there is a couple of contractors in the area that are familiar with the systems and know how to install them. So now it's a matter of getting them familiar with it and building momentum behind it. The industry has a really strong backing. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of PR power. They haven't got out there and marketed the ground source system very well. But as it takes off, there's usually a lot of industry backing with the engineering and contractor community because it's a lot less maintenance for them, a lot less headaches for them, a lot less callbacks, so they jump on board very quickly. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Do you see, doesn't UTEP have a, I'm not an engineer in any way, but don't they have a pretty big mechanical engineering program?
They do have a mechanical engineering program. It's more centered around mining and aerospace. UTEP does not have like an HVAC or construction management type program. MSU does.
And there's no trade schools here doing that?
Western Canada.
My father's actually the head of the construction management department.
And MSU?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was here at UTEP.
Oh.
At UTEP, he runs the master's department for construction management and the engineering department. He killed it.
Yeah, you guys may have lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good. You would try to get a chapter going there for a while. Absolutely. Let's talk.
This is cool.
Thanks.
Excited.
Does the unit heat or cool or both or
Both. It'll do your heating, it'll do your cooling, and it'll produce the hot water for the home. The big movement on this is, again, there's a movement in the nation called electrification. You're trying to electrify all items in your home. So you're getting rid of that natural gas, you're getting rid of those fossil fuel devices. So the less you can, or the more you can reduce consumption on site, the less solar power you need on site to meet the consumption to hit net zero. So that's the whole goal. But right now I see this fallacy of just coat the whole roof with solar panels. Well, that's great, but if you get refrigerated air and single pane windows and bad insulation, you're not really being energy efficient. You're just changing who you're paying your utility bill to, from El Paso Electric to a solar provider. That's really all you've done.
We're trying to understand that the electric company isn't the biggest fan of net zero.
I don't think the local electric company understands the net zero possible.
Well, they do because they're building solar fields.
Well,
Great.
Well, yeah, they're doing that to just kind of discourage the fact that they're disheartening solar DG customers at home.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, there's only one net zero complex in El Paso. That's owned by the housing authority, actually. On Paisano. Yes.
Can you have a hybrid system where if you have an evac cooler and then geothermal for the rest?
You can do that, but you'll run into the same situation that you'd have with refrigerated air. You would almost need two different duct systems because evaporative cooling works on air changes per minute. So you're flowing a lot more air, whereas a refrigerated air or geothermal system, you don't need as much duct diameter. So you really be, if you have it sized for evaporative cooling, you're going to have very poor airflow performance. So you don't really need two different types of duct systems, but yes, it can be done. On the commercial level, it's done more often than not. Yes, sir.
When do you expect your website to be back up?
Within 2 to 3 weeks.
Do you have a Facebook page for this?
Not very updated. Yeah, Seeing Green, it's just me and the company right now, so any marketing, PR, website, all that stuff, it's been all kind of internal.
Your cards?
Yes, there are cards on the back table for sure.
Okay, maybe we have maybe time for one more question, if there is one more question. Going once? Okay, the final question, what can we as a community do to help you, Ryan?
Help get the word out when people are talking about energy efficiency and they're talking about renewable energy. A lot of people say solar, wind, geothermal is another big one out there that actually has a lot more components to it and has a lot more strategy. And also, if you hear anybody saying, well, geothermal won't work out here, it's not true. I mean, I hear that a lot with Cantu. It's like, well, Cantu is a problem school. I just met with their facilities director. They've never had the school shut down. They've been cooling since 2004. And the only thing that they had is they had a leak in the loop field, but it was caused by construction. Somebody ran over it with a backhoe. So there's, it's a lot of myths and stuff that has to be dispelled. So it's an education process.
Okay, great.
Thank you all very much.
He gets a cool presenter mug, and then we gotta take a quick picture. Okay. All right, thanks again. Okay, everybody, we did most of our community announcements when we were having our technical difficulties at the beginning, but we've had some folks come in. Does anybody have a community announcement that they'd like to share that they've not had a chance to share? Going once, going twice? Okay, I'd like to recognize a couple of guests that are here with us today. We have Andrew Kerr and Rebecca Mendes from the Winhall Chamber of Commerce. Welcome. And then Aaron Nazarian from Borderplex, back in the back there. And then now we get to give away one of these cool 1 million cups mugs. So who here would like to be a presenter this month? Now, if you raise your hand for the mug, we're going to hold you to it. So who here would like to be a presenter this month? Anyone? Anyone? Really? All right. So we have a winner. What is your name, sir?
Dan Stetter.
Okay, I'm not going to let you leave before I get your card, and then I'm going to bug you. And now we have a drawing. One of our past presenters, John with Vitania, was very generous and is providing a $75 gift card. So if you didn't put your business card in here, now's your last chance. Going once, going twice, quickly now. Yes? Okay, gonna mix it up, mix it up. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, I'm not looking, I'm closing my eyes, I'm gonna try to get something in the middle. And Eric from ERA. Eric, that's why, there you are. Here's your gift card. Okay, with that, I believe we're almost ready. Are we ready for our next presenter? Just about? Okay, with that, our second presenter, Winhall Mill Consulting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Luis Salazar. I'm the Managing Director of Winhall Mill Consulting. First question I have for you is, what do you guys think consulting is? Anybody? Anything, yes. But what is the consulting for our business?
You guys charge the top.
Okay. that is partially true. But you talk about something that you know, or you talk about something that you can do for the company. So, in order to tell you what a consultant is, I'm going to tell you how I got here. I started my career doing biomedical engineering. I went to the University of Texas at Austin. When I was there, I was doing research and nanotechnology and also neuroengineering. When I was there, I was working in research labs, and I wanted to understand how do you take these products into the marketplace. And so after I graduated, I did a master's in engineering management at Case Western Reserve University. During the time there, I understood how to work in manufacturing facilities and how to improve the operations of plants or other businesses. when I finished that, I decided to do consulting, and I went to a firm, his name is Accenture Consulting. That is the largest global firm in technology consulting. And I was helping Fortune 500 companies or Fortune 100 companies in using technology on how to improve their operations, how to centralize their technology resources, and also to do outsourcing. I did that for about 5 years. And I was helping only large businesses. These are multinational companies. And I wanted to help the local entrepreneurs. I wanted to help small companies. And so I decided to do an MBA at the MIT Sloan School of Management. I completed that, and I focused mostly on working with entrepreneurs. So the companies that I worked with were in natural gas, oil and gas, smart home electronics, medical devices, and also in digital marketing. So during the time that I was there, I learned how to really look into small businesses and how to make them profitable. A lot of the times, businesses focus on certain problems that they're facing, such as just getting new customers. But they don't focus on how to choose the right strategies on marketing or how to focus on the on things that they shouldn't be doing, like such as selecting customers. Sometimes they need to do that. And so I decided to be an independent consultant. I was in Houston. I worked for a hospital, and I did a project for them as a financial analyst and helping them with a merger and acquisition. And then afterwards, I worked for a company doing a large implementation of the software for an airline. And that's when I decided to move here to El Paso. The area, I felt that there was a lot of need for improvement in terms of business strategy. A lot of companies here, I saw were struggling on how to scale their businesses. And so in some of the work that I did here, I was advising entrepreneurs and students in competitions or here at the hub, and understanding how they could actually plan something that would help their business. And so that's when I developed this framework, which is the Intelligent Bottom Line, which will help you understand how you can focus on the right things and grow your business. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what I'm going to present to you. I've done the introduction, and I'm going to tell you what the Intelligent Bottom Line is. Afterwards, I'm going to talk about the net income equation, which is the basic driver of all business. And then some of the things that drive us, which is revenue and cost. So, like I was telling you, the Intelligent Bottom Line, the problem is business owners strategize on how to grow. But they really don't sometimes have to focus on the right aspects of their particular business. So the solution is really to work smarter, understand what you should do, and taking the right steps for the unique solution, for the unique situations that the companies have at that specific point in time. And so the Intelligent Bottom Line is understanding how to do marketing correctly, understanding the avenues that you choose, the channels. For example, if you're going to be doing social, if you're going to be doing traditional PR, or if you're going to be doing talks, which is the one that I'm doing here. The other things are understanding within your business how to do optimization of your productivity. So looking at operational efficiencies, understanding how to sustain those efficiencies with different aspects that you can look at. And finally, understanding what your cost is. Because if you don't control that, then the likelihood is that you're also losing money on that problem. So everything is being driven by the net income equation, which is what drives the profitability. And it is very simple. It is just revenue minus cost. And so when you're looking at how to make more money, you have to boil down to the essentials. And this is what I'm going to go through. When you're looking at revenue, the couple of things that drive it are volume and price. Those are that's everything that drives revenue. So in order to analyze what drives volume and what drives price, you have to look at how to improve each one of those aspects. And same with cost. You're going to have your fixed cost, which is your overhead, and you're going to have your variable cost, which is what drives each one of the items that you're selling or the personnel you're using for your resources. And so now let's dive in a little bit more on revenue. When you're looking at volume, how can you improve the volume? How can you sell more? Well, doing smart marketing. So if you're just going to be sending your marketing materials or your Facebook ads, how are you going to know that you're getting the right audience? There's an article that an author wrote that was telling you, well, your product is video cards for games, computer graphics. And somebody told them, well, I haven't seen your company. And the person said, that's right, thank you so much. That means that I'm advertising in the right place, because if you haven't seen it, then I'm not wasting my money on somebody that's going to buy it. That means that they're spending their money exactly on the place where somebody can see it and that's going to be their customer. So identifying who your audience is, understanding where are they located. For example, is this the right place for my business, where entrepreneurs come or where companies come? Well, I think so. But if I'm advertising somewhere else, for example, let's say Facebook, well, maybe people are on Facebook are not going to be understanding what my business is, and they're not going to see the value. So I'm really wasting money there. And advertising, people have limited resources in terms of that. One aspect that I forgot to mention is that the average household in the U.S. has less than $10,000 in savings, and there's usually a lot of debt, like about the same in credit card. So when people try to start their business, some people only have one chance in life. And so if they don't really choose how to spend that money wisely and how to strategize to launch their business, well, they're really losing that one chance in a lifetime. And so why leave that up to chance when you can start looking into a smart way in a structured process on how to succeed? And so that's what smart marketing would be. Once you have your business, you have it running, you have to look at your operational efficiencies. So not just understanding the process, but also how to train employees and do process documentation. These are things that people sometimes skip, but are very important, because otherwise you're really losing money. And everything that you don't do right, you're losing money. In terms of pricing and willingness to pay, you have to do research. Sometimes people charge according to the cost, but if the customer can pay more, that's one of the biggest issues that entrepreneurs have. They don't charge enough. So you're really losing money. And in cities, for example, in El Paso, you're doing a lot of competitive pricing. People understand how to capture value instead of just being a price-sensitive customer, or targeting that price-sensitive customer. And quickly, within decreasing cost, understanding what is your fixed costs. Are they all necessary? Do you have alternatives? Could there be efficiencies such as the share space? And there are other things that you can do within efficiency and work business for the variable cost. So just to summarize, everything that I want you to get out of the presentation is, if you have a business, spend some time into it and strategize what you're going to do. Analyze your operations and then optimize from there. My name is Luis Salazar. I'm the Managing Director of Winhall Mill, and thank you very much.
Now 15 minutes for Q&A, so questions, please.
Yes. Do you have some examples of companies you've worked with before, or business that you've helped before?
Yes, so I've worked with companies in almost all industries. But for example, I'm going to tell you about a natural gas transportation company. So this was a startup that came out of Houston, and they wanted to understand how they could sell one of their products, which was capturing natural gas and transporting it instead of via pipeline through trucks and through another method. And so they didn't know how to start getting new customers. And what they did was, I was looking at some of the things that they had within their project. And it was, they could transport to places where there's no access to pipeline. So I started doing some research, and I said, well, their main find was the fracking sites where they would transport natural gas, and they would operate the engines and all the facilities. I said, you also have the ability to transport to other locations that don't have that access. So for example, I started doing research, and I found mining companies. That's another example. So I started targeting the mining companies and understanding how they could supply them with that. So their market expanded from just natural gas and oil drilling into a new market, which was mining. So they were also start targeting other customers. So that's one example of how you can start looking at expanding your business with new customers. Another thing that I did for them was to understand how to do business development and capture those other customers. So going into databases, researching, and telling the intern that they had after I left exactly how to reach out to those people, how to be able to do the right message and positioning for the product. And so that particular example is just one that I did in 2014 about how to expand the business of one company. But like I said, I've done projects in almost all industries. Yes.
So does this apply to all businesses, or can it also be applied to the unique challenges of small businesses here in El Paso?
So the intelligent bottom line that I'm developing is so that the traditional business owner anywhere can use it. So consultants, or let's say multinational corporations, companies that are really large, they'll have consultants and they pay millions of dollars for them and get that strategy and they get a lot of value and they make millions and millions more. But the business owner and local businesses, they really don't get that advice. They don't have that those resources to pay for, let's say, a large strategy consultant. And so what I'm trying to do is set up a structured method so that people can follow it easily and understand what are some of the checklists that you can do that are not so complex. That you don't have to go to the Harvard Business Review and read articles, that you can actually apply them with practical examples. And so a lot of the focus that I'm trying to do is for businesses not to sometimes go and dream big, but also to be practical and understand how they can make money with tangible things that they can do on a day-to-day basis. So this applies to all businesses, and I'm structuring it for smaller businesses, but the consulting services that I offer also for large companies and stuff, I've worked with very large enterprises. Yes?
So how small of a business, how big should a small business be to get a return on investment with Winhall Mill?
Yes, with a traditional, yes.
What size are you looking for?
With a traditional consulting business, sometimes they're looking more at medium-sized companies. What I'm trying to focus on is on the smaller business and entrepreneur. So let's say that you already have sales, you already have something that you can capitalize on whenever you get improvements, or you already have a team that, let's say, is at least 5 to 10 people, so that when you start doing operational efficiencies or process optimization, you can capture those benefits. If you're a solo or you have 2 or 3 employees, you might not see as much results from the optimization, but you'll see something out of the strategy, and you'll see something out of that focus. So I moved to El Paso this year, and I want to help as many people as I can. So at this point, I'm telling you, like, there's really no small business, no business too small. I want to be able to show results, and from there grow. And if I can help those small entrepreneurs grow, those small businesses grow into a large company, then even better, because then I'll have a larger client.
This is regarding your sales process. How do you find your next client?
At this point, this is what I'm focusing on is presenting, where I'm going to start telling people what is consulting. And so, thank you for bringing that up, because that's exactly what I'm going to start doing starting next month. I'm going to have a weekly talk where I'm going to tell people and explain what the process of consulting is and what does a consulting project look like. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks we'll see an announcement here where you'll see weekly presentations on what are some of the consulting projects that I've done or some other consulting projects. And from there I think work will spread, and hopefully also you guys can give any advice on some people that might have business that they might be looking to grow, or a business also that is struggling, because if you see somebody that is really trying to struggle a little bit on making that next level, then at least somebody that can take a look at it and see the benefits. And that's another thing. I'm not going to be charging consultations for business. I want to listen to people's stories, and from there I'll tell you quite fast that I will be able to help them in that situation. So traditional presentations.
So one of the biggest obstacles in small business starting is really funding and keeping your cash flow, right? So focusing on the small businesses, how are your fee structure to help that business?
In terms of fee structure, I mean that's something that will be on a project basis, and I would be happy to go further into more details depending on the business. But I would say the challenge is sometimes not getting that funding or keeping that funding, spending it wisely. Because if you're spending $10,000, $20,000 for something where you didn't even do the due diligence
You said you came to El Paso to start your business here. I'm curious to know, I love that you chose El Paso, and I'd like to know why you chose El Paso.
I came here primarily because of the family, and also because I wanted to spend more time with the people that I grew up with. When I left, a lot of people that leave here say, okay, well, I have the studies, I have the work that I can do to be successful. But during the time that I was a consultant, I went to many companies, I went to a lot of cities, and I saw a lot of things. And I said, there's all these people everywhere just making all this money, but in El Paso, sometimes I haven't seen that advice, I haven't seen that help. So when I go back and help that community with everything that I've learned. So that's exactly what I wanted to come here, because if people with the resources and with the capability to help go out and leave, then it's just a brain drain, and then nothing stays here, and then the city doesn't grow. So one of the reasons why I'm having folks at the hub and also volunteering at events like the Pastor North Foundation or the Start Day by Youth, the reason I come back and help is because if I don't do it, or if the people that leave and don't come back, then how's the city going to develop? And then how are people going to stay here if everybody's leaving? So that's the main reason why I stay here and why I want to start helping smaller businesses. Any questions?
Any other questions?
Have you started helping small businesses already, or you're barely starting?
I hope somebody's
Are you in El Paso?
Yes. In El Paso, I've done a few sessions where I've advised companies. And that was before I started to start doing an official role to get more of a feel of what the industry is like in El Paso. So I've advised some companies, I've had consulting sessions this year. I have also outside, but I have not had a main mind since I just started the official business, basically.
Any others? Okay, and as always, what can we as a community do to help you, Luis?
Well, becoming aware of what a consultant can do or a business advisor, that's one thing, giving yourself something on that. And then looking at other businesses that could help grow with some help. And also referrals, that's something that I really appreciate. And just being good.
Your website or a Facebook page? Or
yes, my website is winhallmail.com. That site will drive you to the business that I'm focusing on, which is exporting.us. So that's helping entrepreneurs in Mexico grow within the U.S. I'm doing that conjunctly with a consulting here in El Paso. Exporting.us, which is afterwards I read it as exporting us, but exporting.us. And the other one is winhall.com.
I would like to know how you came up with the name for your company.
Winhall Mail, I'll tell you, this is recorded, so it's going to go everywhere. But the secret, to marketing is to use a lot of psychology. And so the name is city around New England, Winhall. So when I went to the map, I was looking at the cities that looked nice. And the Win part will give the psychology of being successful. Hall is part of the city. And Mill, because I'm trying to brand companies and being successful. So that's just psychology.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you. Ready for the picture? All right, thanks again. Okay, we just have a couple more announcements before we're done and get to networking. If you did not sign in as you arrived, please do sign in. That's vitally important. We need to report back to the Kaufman folks and our other sponsors that are helping us with this event, who's showing up, and most importantly, how you heard about us. Please don't leave that section blank. How you heard about us. please sign up to present. If you have a business or a concept or something you're thinking about working on, please do sign up to present. It's right on the website. It's about a 15-20 minute process. And then please come back and see us, bring your friends. And lastly, we are looking for 1 or 2 August organizers to join us. A couple of our organizers have been unable to continue, so we'd love to have a little bit of help putting this together. So with that, thank you all. We'll see you next week.